Welcome to Kadampa Podcasts. These podcasts offer practical solutions to daily challenges and help guide us to a happier and more peaceful state of mind. In each episode, you will find an extract from a teaching given by one of various Kadampa Buddhist teachers worldwide. All these teachings are inspired by the profound wisdom of Venerable Geshe Khalsang Gyatso Rinpoche, a Buddhist master for our time. We hope you will enjoy listening.
Happiness is a choice. Unhappiness is a choice. We actually have freedom to be happy or to be unhappy in any given moment, any given situation, when we understand the actual causes of happiness and the actual causes of unhappiness. It's all coming from within our own mind. It's not actually the difficulties that we're facing in life that are the actual problems. It's our responses, our negative responses to them are the big problem we have to resolve. Imagine being a person who doesn't necessarily become unhappy when things go wrong within a difficult situation. We need to imagine this. We need to imagine becoming such a person ourselves in order to create the causes to become such a person, to know that that is actually possible. Patience. And I'm reading from this incredible book, How to Solve Our Human Problems by Venerable Geshe Khalsang Gyatso, which has got incredible advice and explanation on why we get angry, frustrated in our life, and how to really apply incredible logic in order to solve our problems and to develop a mind of patience. Venerable Geshe says, patience is a mind that's able to accept fully and happily whatever occurs. Wow, what a realization. Imagine having a mind that could accept everything, whatever occurs in our life, fully and happily. So it's much more than just gritting our teeth and getting on with it, coping. Perhaps externally, we're not manifesting our anger, we're controlling it on our physical level. But really, we're just suppressing it. Gritting our teeth and going, yes, I'm not angry with you, I'm practicing patience. I'm quite happy with what you're doing. We all know that experience, even if it's not literally gritting our teeth. But it's a tension, it's a tense mind, and we think that's what patience is. It's just a suppression of our manifestation of our anger. In reality, that's not patience. That's not acceptance. Being patient means to welcome wholeheartedly whatever arises, having given up the idea that things should be other than what they are. Having given up the idea that things should be other than they are. Now, if we really check, all the time we are carrying beliefs in our heart that things should be other than they are. We're constantly wishing assuming things should be other than they are. We are not accepting of so much of our life experience. This is the reason there's so much dissatisfaction and lack of fulfillment, because we are constantly rejecting what actually is, not accepting it fully or happily, but wishing it was something else or someone else. Deep in our hearts, we believe that we should have a life without any problems or difficulty, and everything should go our way. We begin our daily life experience with that assumption, that belief, and then every day we get disappointed that things are not working out the way we want them to. But that is life, contaminated life. Our minds are filled with distorted beliefs and views, many delusions. So there's no way that in this contaminated life, things will be perfect and go as we wish them to go. We are living in a contaminated mode of existence, Buddha explains, that's actually projected through our delusions. Through our deluded mind, we are creating an impure world that is actually the nature of pain and suffering. And it's only if we can change the projections, clear the negativities in our mind, that we glimpse the possibility of a pure world, a pure experience, beyond the negative states of mind. If we change our mind, we can change our world, our whole reality. But the priority is to change inwardly. We've worked our whole lives to change the world externally, to make it conform to our wishes, needs and desires. Anybody achieved any success on this? Now is the time to go inside and really learn that we have control over our responses to whatever's happening in our life. And imagine having an attitude where we can embrace, accept fully and happily whatever is happening in our daily life. Everything. So, of course, if it's possible to change difficult circumstances, if it's possible to avoid any pain and problems, then we take action and we act appropriately. We try our best, of course, to do whatever we can do within a difficult circumstance, okay? Being patient in Buddhism is not like we just become like a doormat, and we just accept, roll over and accept whatever life throws at us, and we're not going to make any attempt to change anything. So that's not the correct attitude. We're just working whatever we can do to remedy a difficult situation. We do that. But we're doing that with a peaceful, accommodating mind. And we accept whatever is unavoidable. So whatever is happening that's not possible to avoid, we can learn to accept it fully and happily. So the example that Venerable Geshe gives is if we have a headache, for example, it's not just about like, oh, I have a headache, so I have to fully and happily accept and embrace my headache and do nothing about it and get really unhappy within that condition of pain. We are conventionally responding to the situation, so there's nothing wrong with taking some painkillers for that headache. But while that painkiller kicks in, we need to just accept whatever painful feelings are being experienced through this headache. In this way, we will relax. And the more our body relaxes, then the more the headache will disappear anyway. You know, when we get so tense and reject any pain, physical pain or emotional pain, we just make it worse. Like if we get annoyed with ourselves for having a headache because it's really inconvenient right now, then we just make the headache worse. We get upset, we get worried about not being able to do what we planned to do because we've now got a headache, etc. And it makes everything much, much worse than it actually is. So, Buddha gives us an extraordinary insight into what's possible in our own mind if we can just take our time, slow down and really see what's happening in our mind as we go through our day-to-day life and all of the bigger events that are happening within our life. And understand our habitual response to become unhappy and how to work with this. Really understanding where our pain and suffering comes from. So this is probably my favorite part of Venerable Geshe's teachings in this book. When he explains what painful feelings are and where they're coming from and how we can deal with this. So he says, normally our need to escape from unpleasant feelings is so urgent that we do not give ourselves the time to discover where these feelings actually come from. Where does our pain come from? Unpleasant feelings. Where are they coming from? So, suppose that someone we have helped responds with ingratitude. Shocking. If our partner fails to return our affection, or a colleague or boss continuously tries to belittle us and undermine our confidence, these things hurt. And our instinctive reaction is to try immediately to escape painful feelings in our mind by becoming defensive, blaming the other person, retaliating, or simply hardening our heart. And sometimes all of those at once. If we check, like, what's my go-to response when I feel pain? Is it that knee-jerk response to retaliate and try and pain the person we're perceiving is causing our pain? Or is it that close down, hard in the heart, we just distance ourselves from that person, from that experience? We close it down, suppress the whole thing, become defensive. We need to look. It's only by really practically identifying, that's what I do in our own mind, that we can begin the transformation. We can see that those responses are actually increasing our problems. Venerable Geshe tells us that our unpleasant feelings are our problems, the real problems in our life. So we need a realistic way of dealing with pain in our life, because it's the nature of our life. We're never going to go through our life, even a day, without things happening we'd prefer didn't happen. We can't avoid difficult circumstances, so we need this realistic perspective on what we can do with our habitual response of unpleasant feelings, our pain. It's because normally it's happening so quickly that we don't see it. We are not understanding what's going on. So we're going to try, and we're going to meditate on this later, to go into slow-mo, right? We're going to slow down the response in our mind in relation to a real experience in our life, and really begin to see and acknowledge our habitual response to difficult situations. And then use some logic. And how's this? This is priceless. Logic. I love this. Venerable Geshe says, in reality, okay, reality check. We're getting caught up in this drama in our mind. All this pain's arising because that person said something, didn't say something, ingratitude, blah, blah, blah. Whatever's going on, we are experiencing this extraordinary pain in our mind. In reality, though, the painful feelings that arise on such occasions are not intolerable. They're only feelings. They're only feelings. You know, it's like, oh, what do you mean they're only feelings? They're my feelings. And that is where the problem is. Because we're viewing our own feelings as being so important and so real and solid that we're actually creating a lot of melodrama and pain for ourselves. But they're only feelings. They're only feelings. They're only feelings. A few moments of bad weather in the mind. A few moments of bad weather in the mind with no power to cause us any lasting harm.
If you feel inspired by this podcast, then dive deeper into timeless wisdom of modern Kadampa Buddhism by following the link in the episode description. We look forward to reconnecting with you in the next episode of Kadampa Podcasts.